For real. Let's do it. Let's do it. Are the Colts for real?
It's a Thursday night game.
Yeah, and by the way, we are live for the. I didn't let anybody know. I kind of like the informal introduction a little bit more. The kind of pose a question and let's talk it through for a second before we get started. I don't know. We started on something informal before, and I was like, I really like this, so that's what I did. But nonetheless, thought it was kind of cool. But I think the Colts are for real. We'll talk more about that, of course, once we get into the whole deal. Very interesting week 10 preview coming at you right here on the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the next edition of the Baltimore Colts Show. DJ is here talking as we speak. Justin's here, Casey's here, Adam's here. And it should be definitely a good discussion, good preview show for this week. Chiefs, of course, got a bye, so that'll be fun for Justin. He'll be able to sleep a little bit longer.
I'm the only one in the stadium.
I mean, you guys will see what he's talking about. You guys will see what he's talking about here in a second. Of course, I'm on the. I am letting everybody know where they can find us. Of course, on Facebook, which is usually our first place that we go live. YouTube as well, if you want to listen to us going down the road, whatever you may be doing, or you're cleaning the house. Cleaning the house is always a good one. If you're cleaning the house, you can pull us up on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, etc., etc. But nonetheless, Week 10 preview for the NFL. We'll let you guys give us a like, give us a share, maybe comment something nice, something decent, something funny. Make fun of Casey. We'll let you guys do that very, very soon, and we'll be right back.
Let's get it.
Welcome to the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always an Instant Classic.
And I didn't start. All right, what's going on, good people? That's pretty cool. Didn't realize they did that, but nonetheless, learning new things every single day on this thing. But nonetheless, Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, another. Goodness, Casey, you're an idiot. Another.
Someone get their mans, please.
I can't even concentrate. Another edition of the Baltimore Colts Show.
Asshole.
Another edition of the Baltimore Colts Show. And we're going to jump right into this Week 10 preview.
Before you keep going, anytime there's an injury now, I'm going to go like, yeah, it's just a cramp. That's all it is. It's just a cramp.
Unless it's Mahomes, then he'll be really offended. But nonetheless.
Oh, man.
But nonetheless, Week 10 preview, we're going to, of course, do the Ravens and Patriots preview. The Colts are playing the Titans on Thursday Night Football, which is going to be a good one, I feel like. Yes, they are for real, by the way, to answer the question that we posed at the beginning. Yes, they are for real. That defense has gradually gotten better. I think the defense has always been like, whoa. The offensive line has always been like, whoa. And now that seems to be the strengths of the team, the offensive line and the defense now. There was never a question at quarterback. I mean, shoot, they had Peyton and fell right into Andrew Luck. So it's like there was never a question at quarterback. Yes, they're for real. And I think people, for some reason, are discrediting them, and I don't know why. They got a solid veteran quarterback, a very good defense, a top 5 defense, I think you could definitely say. Offensive line, like we said, very much improved. And I mean, I think they got especially a chance to win the AFC South. The Titans are tough, but looking at the Colts, if they can put it together consistently offensively, I think they'll be fine. And I like the running backs too. With who's it, Jonathan Taylor. I know Marlon Mack's hurt, but Jonathan Taylor and I can't remember the other guy's name off the top of my head. But I like both of their running backs. I think they're very good. But nonetheless, I mean, I think they can compete with the Titans. Definitely. But we'll preview that game here in a second. But real quick recap of the Ravens versus the Colts game, which I know Casey may not have been happy about, but I was very happy about. Tale of two halves is the best way to put it, I guess. Definitely a tale of two halves. didn't look too good in the first half, but I don't think it looked bad. Like everybody's like, "Oh, we were just dead in the water in the first half." I don't think the Ravens were dead in the water in the first half. I think there were some drops in the first half. There was some questionable play calling, as there has been all year long in the first half. But then the second half, it even felt like they maybe put it more in Lamar's hands. They had a drive where they let him run hurry up, so it felt like he was calling more of the plays. Um, and even though the run wasn't working because they were facing a stout defense in the Colts, they still stuck with it, which they don't do. They were down by 3, and they didn't go into panic mode, and they stuck with their guns and what they do right. And I'm definitely that's a good sign. That's a good sign to see. It may not be like we not may not be peaking yet, but I don't know if this is the time you want to peak in the first place anyway. So, but nonetheless, I mean, I enjoyed the game. I thought it was good. I watched it with one of my friends who's another Colts fan. Not Casey because he was probably working or something. But I did watch it with one of my other Colts friends, and he was talking to me about the Colts a little bit because I haven't seen the Colts much this year. This is kind of the first full game I've seen of the Colts that was on kind of national TV, and of course we'll see them Thursday night as well against the Titans, so we'll really get to see what they're up to. But I mean, I think they're pretty good, and I said their defense wasn't that good, and I hadn't seen enough of them to make that claim. I think Adam was the one who gave credit to their defense, and watching them against us, of course, I saw that they're a pretty good defense, and I guess because of recency bias of the previous years where the defense was holding them back or where the offensive line was holding them back, so you felt like that was still an issue. But I think they've gradually solved that problem. I kind of want to hear Casey's thoughts not only on the game, but what he thinks they're going to do with Phillip Rivers after this year because a lot of people say Phillip Rivers is holding them back. I think he's kind of a little bit of a glue for them in a way. He might be holding them back, but I think he is a consistent point, a veteran leader for the team. I don't think they would be doing this with Jacoby Brissett. I don't see them doing this with maybe a Curtis Painter or somebody like that. Some of the previous quarterbacks that they've had. I think he's been a very good, consistent point. I mean, he's a little older, but I think he's been a good veteran leader. But I want to hear from Casey to kind of hear what he thinks that the Colts are going to do in terms of Phillip Rivers after this year. He's on a 1-year deal. I don't see them re-signing him. But at the same time, I don't know if they'll be high. I don't think they're going to finish badly enough to get somebody in the draft either. So it's like, or get somebody that they maybe want in the draft as a quarterback. So Casey, what do you think you guys are going to do with Phillip Rivers after this year? Because I don't see you guys re-signing him. Maybe you do.
I mean, to me, it kind of depends on the rest of the season. How well we continue to do. If we make it to the playoffs, which I think there's a possibility we could, and then if we do that, how far we make it in the playoffs. I can see us possibly signing him to a little bit longer, maybe another year deal, depending on his contract. If we can not if we can afford it, but if it's worth it to us to offer him a longer contract. But I think either way, it would definitely help us rather than hurting us because I feel like we don't really have a set in stone quarterback other than him. And it's still, we're still kind of, I feel like, recovering from, Andrew Luck all of a sudden retiring. We're still kind of in shock in a way at that. So I think if we keep him on for maybe one more season, if not longer, you'll have that veteran that, you can trust to not make too many, big rookie mistakes like some of the young guys would. And has been doing pretty good, I feel like. Again, he's not in his prime, I don't think, but he's not, he's not terrible. So again, if just wait and see, how the rest of the season plays out, and if it's not terrible, then I don't see why we wouldn't keep him at least, to help us out. Even if we have him as a backup, helping out the younger quarterbacks. Yeah, I feel like you always need that on the team.
Yeah, and when you get a chance, check your headset and make sure that it's plugged in like you normally do. It's a little low for some reason, but we'll get it fixed nonetheless. But yeah, I mean, and Justin or Adam, feel free to chime in as well. But I feel like you guys have everything you guys wanted when you had Andrew Luck, which is ironic. I think the Colts have everything they could have wanted with Andrew Luck, and now it's like the quarterback seems to be the question mark. Like we said before, not that Philip Rivers is a bad quarterback by any means. I think it's just number one, he's a little older. And Philip Rivers is one of those guys who's gonna take his chances. He's gonna try to sling the ball in some tight windows. And I think that's been the mark of what Philip Rivers does. But you guys got any thoughts on the Colts and kind of what they're doing? Because I think that's an interesting story this year. Because this is the first time in a while, besides of course last year too, where last year and the year in between Peyton and Andrew Luck, where it feels like the Colts don't really have a quarterback that they're like, yeah, this is our guy.
Adam, do you want to go? Yeah, you
I was going to say, I don't know if you had something ready or not. No, but no, the quarterback situation is interesting because I don't think Philip is holding them back or hindering them, but he's not necessarily.
He's not elevating them.
Yeah, he's not propelling them any.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like I said, he's doing and I like to use that word. He's a professional.
He's conservative.
He's going to come in. He's going to do what you want him to do.
Exactly.
Like with the point of this past Sunday, that last drive. Now I put this more. I don't know if this was Phillips doing or if this was from Frank Reich. They were down 14 with 2 minutes left, and they were taking that drive like they were down 3. I'm like, yo, where's the urgency? And they even got down towards the red zone, and they just stalled, and they were doing these draw plays. I'm like, what? That was puzzling. But anyway, I'm gonna go on a limb and say that they won't re-sign him. If let me put it this way: if Sam Darnold is available, I think that's somebody that the Colts need to look at. Now, I know he gets the stink on it because of what happened with the Jets.
Wouldn't that be ironic though? Because that you remember the Jets traded their picks to the Colts to get Sam Darnold. That would be so ironic.
That was the flip. That's right. That's the flip, and that could be come full circle. If I were to guess, I think Sam would either go to New Orleans or San Fran, and maybe even more likely San Fran. But anyway, I just like to me, he was a good bridge gap quarterback for this year, and I would say if anything, they're trying to fight for at least the 5th or the 6th spot in the playoffs. And because I think it's going to come down to Oakland or the Browns for the 7th spot for that extra spot that they put in there, but that remains to be seen. But yeah, I mean, even minus Darius Leonard in the game against us, that was still really good, and they still got Buckner, and they still got a stout defense. That's why I said this was a quality win. And even early on in that game, I texted a buddy of mine. I said, that win against the Colts is starting to look better and better, isn't it? And I said, yeah, because they were holding strong. But Leonard is the X factor because he was making a lot of those. He was getting into the backfield quickly and getting to Lamar. So he definitely made the difference where you can drop a lot of guys back, but he can be that spy that keeps an eye on Lamar. So I do think the Colts are a solid team. between the two, yes, I would say they are for real, and we'll see how the season plays out. But yeah, in terms of Phillip, that's up in the air because there's not anybody in the draft that would wow me. They're not going to give up a bunch of capital to go up and get Justin Fields. So they're definitely not going to go up to get Trevor Lawrence. That's that'll put you way behind.
If Justin Fields was to fall, possibly, because injuries and he's not playing as much.
Right. Now, for me, I would say Fields goes to either Jacksonville or maybe the Giants, depending on how they finish out. I'm trying to think of the other teams that would be up towards the beginning of the draft.
Washington.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But we'll see. But they took a flyer on one Ohio State quarterback. I don't know if they want to do that again. But Fields is way better than Dwayne Haskins. But anyway. But yeah, like obviously we'll see what happens in the offseason. But if I had to put my money on it, then he wouldn't be back.
Justin, you got any thoughts on the Colts and kind of how they changed?
I mean, you guys kind of nailed it right on the head there. I mean, there's not really much else to say about. Like, I mean, they've been consistent. They've been doing pretty good. So that's really all I have to say about it.
All right.
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say a follow-up to all of you, any of you. So if we don't re-sign Phillip Rivers, do you think another team takes him, or what do you think happens with him?
I think he might retire.
Well, no, and I was just I was going to get to that point too. Like, I don't know. I don't think he would want to go to a lower end team just because. But I can't think of another team that would have that. We're this guy away from making a run. So it's just kind of, and he wouldn't stay as a backup. So I mean I can't think of anybody offhand of where he could go.
Maybe the Bears. That's a maybe.
Yeah.
But they don't even know what they want to do with at their quarterback.
Well, they already have to give up a lot of capital between Trubisky and Foles because they got they got to hang on to Foles for another year at least.
And two, with the Bears, I mean, I don't see. I mean, not necessarily with the Bears, but just in general, I don't see somebody sign. Like, I think there's too many needs on the Bears for Phillip Rivers to sign with them. I think Phillip Rivers is going to go to a situation that's like perfectly niched for him. It's going to be the perfect situation for Phillip Rivers in terms of like they're going to have. It's kind of like what Tom Brady did with the going from the Patriots to the Bucks. He went to the perfect situation for him. It wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna go to the Jets who have nobody. No, it was more like
maybe the Cowboys could be an option.
They could be, but I don't see them. I don't know if they're gonna move away from Dak. They might be bad enough. They might be bad enough to move away from Dak right now, but I don't. I don't.
You think he'll be back by next year?
Yeah, I think he's expected. I think he's expected to have his. I forget what the prognosis was, but like I said, when we did it a handful of weeks ago, it depends on what Jerry is thinking come February or March. When you have to make a decision if you're going to put the franchise tag on said person again, and then March is free agency. But that actually is an idea because. No offense to Dalton, I don't know if that is their go-between if they were to have somebody in line if they want to move away from Dak, because Dalton didn't cost you much, but I mean that is, and really as we're surmising all this, he very well could just say, you know what, I had one more good run in me. It was with the Colts. Okay season, and I'm not burying the Colts at all. There's still a lot of season left, but say they dip it into the playoffs and they don't go very far, he may could just say, all right, you know what, I think it's time to ride off into the sunset.
One more thing I do want to talk about with the Ravens and the Colts game. That was Lamar's official 30th game, and he ended up being 25-5, which is tied with Dan Marino for the best record in his first 30 starts, which I think is a pretty big deal because all the dude does is win football games. But nonetheless, and gets criticized more than any other quarterback in the league. But anyway, it's true, Adam. It's true, Adam. I don't think there's one more. I don't think there's any other quarterback in this league that gets criticized like Lamar.
Baker.
It's not Baker. I'm talking.
He does get criticized a lot.
But you got to remember, Lamar's done a lot more than Baker has so far. So the criticism on Baker is warranted in a way. I think it's overblown, but it's warranted. Lamar's criticism is based off of he can't throw, he can't play from behind, plays from behind. Nobody. One of those times again where he plays from behind, wins the game, but nobody sees it. Even though the week before with the Steelers, that was the entire story. Oh, they can't play from behind. But nonetheless, definitely, that was cool. To see him kind of up there with Dan Marino. I remember somebody said he'll get at least one more Super Bowl than Dan Marino did, which was a nice compliment for a team who can't win. Okay. Real quick, because I do want to get into, of course, the Week 10 preview. But the narrative is supposed to be that the Ravens can't win running the offense that they had or that they're running right now. Even though they've shown time and time again that you cut out the mistakes, they're practically unbeatable in this offense. Adam said it. Justin said it. Casey wouldn't say it, but, that's 3-1. So my issue with that is why. So explain to me why this can't work, because everybody was saying, oh, you can't win basketball games, you can't win a championship shooting threes, and then here comes the Golden State Warriors shooting it out the gym. So why is it an issue to run the ball, play the time of possession game, have an explosive offense just in a different way? Because if you get down, is that that's supposed to be the issue? I don't get it. I don't understand why that seems to be the narrative, that you can't win a title with this type of an offense, even though if the Ravens play as they should and they don't turn the ball over, they win the possession battle. They get a turnover or two from the defense. I think it works. It's an old school strategy, but as a defensive coordinator, I'm not defending these running teams every week, but I'm defending Patrick Mahomes chucking it all over the field. I'm defending Tom Brady dinking and dunking. I'm defending Drew Brees dinking and dunking, and Alvin Kamara coming out of the backfield, Christian McCaffrey coming out of the backfield, and these running backs catching the football. So why is it so out of the ordinary that somebody could run the ball down your throat and you would be able to defend it, or you would be able to just automatically just come out and stop it? That's what I'm confused about. But nonetheless, that's just me. Anybody anybody feel the same way as the media pundits would say, that there's no way winning a title is going to happen, even though it's just literally just something different? People want these unique schemes and they want something different. This is about as unique as you can get in the NFL as it is right now. I think Adam has a point, but I'm gonna let him calm the dog a little bit, and then he'll be able to give his point on that. Anybody got any thoughts on Week 9 in terms of any surprises? Feeling some type of way about Week 9? I mean, Casey.
What about the Vince? Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the Jets almost screwed it up. They almost screwed it up and got a win.
So did the Cowboys. I mean, what's going on here? And by the way, the Steelers are still frauds. They're still frauds. They might be undefeated, but there's some undefeated frauds.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but if you go more than 6-0 or 0-6, you're not allowed to win a game. You have to go. You can't. No, it's not. I think
But the thing is,
the Browns messed it up a couple years ago, and I was so mad. No offense, Adam, but that one year, a couple years ago, I wanted them to go winless. I really did.
we did it the following year.
I thought you got to win, though. I'm pretty sure you got to win.
We in 2016, we were 1-15. The following year, we were 0-16.
I'm proud of you, then.
I was about to say I wanted them to go winless. I'm like, does he realize that would have been 0-32? Anywho, but the thing is, going back to the Jets, at any time they got a 3-0 lead from a field goal, all they had to do was just stop the count, and they would have won some games.
I mean, any team can win on any given Sunday. I mean, don't ever count a team out.
Except for the Jets.
But I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to get back to DJ's point about the Ravens, but I am, in a way, small, very, very minute way, glad that Pittsburgh won that game, because Garrett Gilbert played his ass off that game. Garrett Gilbert, just bear with me. Garrett Gilbert's previous spot was he was the backup to Baker. If they would have won that game, I would have been happy, but I was going to grow a lot of tumors throughout my anatomy because I was waiting for why did Cleveland let him go? Please. Anyway, going back to what you were saying earlier, and I don't know what you listen to, because very rarely do I hear not warranted or unwarranted criticism to Lamar.
I hear from a few people, like mainly on Fox, on FS1, like with Colin Cowherd. I hear it a lot with him. I mean, every once in a while, and then I hear it with Skip. Like, I tell you, I hate watching that. I hate watching that.
I mean, look, here's my issue. Dude loses one football game, and they're like,
he's bad. He's the worst quarterback.
Can't throw outside the numbers.
Yeah.
Can't throw the ball, period. You can't win with this offense. It's not as explosive, which some of those are true. It's not as explosive.
And then when my Chiefs lose.
Figuring it out.
Then when my Chiefs lose.
But go ahead, Adam.
But no, well, I think Baltimore's better per se, but like I compare Baltimore to Buffalo because they both have the same formula of if they get any type of substantial lead, 10 points, whatever, it's hard to come back on them. But as you said before, if they just stick to their guns per se, you cannot stop them. Now, if you're going beat to beat like the Steelers game, that's a different story. But regardless, they were still in that game. Now, I personally think that Lamar is still not the best throwing outside the numbers. Again, that's just me. But I don't think they don't scheme Hollywood. They don't scheme any of the other receivers to do so. That's why they have those big tight ends, and that's why they have the 3 running backs. But you would think that would just be an interchangeable, revolving door. Boom, throw in Gus. Boom, throw in Dobbins. Boom, throw in Ingram. And then, again, Lamar, I've always given Lamar props as that he was not RG3 in one read. It's not there. Okay, I'm taking off. Like he's precise on how he does that. I don't know why they get the knock on that. I would say in this year in particular, some teams have kind of figured out Lamar, but it's not such a drop off. I mean, this is the same guy that replaced Joe Flacco, and all he did was go 6-0 or whatever it was, 6-0, 6-1 finishing off that year and then going into the playoffs. They ran into a brick wall going against the Chargers. Ran into the buzzsaw because they had just played San Diego, I think, like a week or two before, and in a short time frame, the defense got honed down on it. It just dropped back a bunch of guys, whatever, and kept everything short. So this year's Ravens is kind of, I don't want to say an enigma, whatever, though, but they have taken just a slight, not a big one, a slight drop back, because I do think people have finally figured them out. Next big thing that they're going to get, and maybe that's with the advent of them getting Dez, helps Lamar because Dez isn't going to pop the top off, whatever, though, but he is a mismatch nightmare. So he is like more of a true wide receiver version of Kelsey. And Hollywood is like Tyreek Hill. But you hit it off, I think, like 2 weeks ago. How Hollywood does not get open, he should be open every play coming off the top in the secondary. I don't know. Baltimore is the class right now, I still believe, of because they have to. They're still the kings of the North. No pun intended. Game of Thrones reference. They're still the class of the AFC North, right? And I know people say, well, Pittsburgh's undefeated. Blah 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 blah. You still have to. Hey, to be the man, you got to beat the man, and the man right now is still Baltimore.
Well, and I think too, on the Dez Bryant point, and kind of getting into our preview of this Patriots-Ravens game, one of the things that I think that Dez Bryant needs to be, people are like, oh, he's not going to be the Dez Bryant of old, he's not going to be this, that, and the third. But I'm like, Dez Bryant wasn't always the fastest guy in the first place. So I don't think that's an issue. All we want him to do is be an Anquan Boldin type of receiver. I'm surprised nobody has said that in terms of, like, I listen to a lot of Ravens fans and I listen to a lot of Ravens people talk, and that's all I want. I want him to be the kind of Anquan Boldin type of receiver. You got the one. It's one-on-one. Exactly. It's one-on-one on the outside. I throw it up to you. You catch it. If there's a hand in your way, a baby in your way, another football coming your way, does not matter. You are catching this football, the real football that's in the game, and that's what Anquan Boldin did. Anquan Boldin. The one thing I loved about Anquan Boldin, number one, he was physical, but number two, if there was a corner's hand or arm in the way, you coming with me too. Like he's catching that football. It don't matter. That's what we want from Dez. I don't care. I don't even care if he gets separation as long as he goes to catch the football. Separation is for the younger guys. Separation is for Hollywood and all his work that he's supposed to be put in during the off season.
Well, not only that, whatever though, Dez can be that guy that gets past the sticks, and that may free up Andrews going down the seam. So now you've got a different level concept, but first down marker or the big chunk play.
Well, and I talked about it before too. To me, sometimes Dez doesn't even need to get the football, but he's Dez Bryant. You have to respect him, right? If I come out, if I'm scheming towards the Ravens without Dez Bryant, I'm like, okay, Hollywood, Mark Andrews. Well, if I get physical with Hollywood, he's not getting open. So that leaves Mark Andrews. I put my most physical corner on Hollywood. I put my best corner on Mark Andrews. Who you gonna throw the football to? Now it's like with Dez Bryant, I gotta respect Dez Bryant. He's a true number one receiver. He may be an older number one receiver, but he's a true number one receiver. Also, the Ravens signed Tramon Williams, which I think is a good pickup, given some of the depth needs with injuries with the corners for the Ravens too. Tramon Williams is a stud, even though he's a little older. He's still a very good corner. But before we get into the Ravens Patriots preview, Justin, did you want to say anything about the Chiefs last week?
Yeah, that was a close game. Too close for how's this bad? I thought we were about to blow it there. I thought that the Panthers about to win that by a field goal because they were only down by 2. But you see, our offense is pretty well rounded right now. We got Tyreek, we got Travis Kelce, And we got a pretty good running game that's going pretty good right now. But we still have flaws in our defense, especially in our sec. Our line isn't doing the greatest, like especially against the run, and also in our secondary. Because Teddy Bridgewater, he was going off, especially in that fourth quarter. Like, they did. I mean, they went up 14 to. It was like 14-3 on us. I'm not worried. We're gonna come back here, and I even heard the announcer saying that the Chiefs are kind of like um pro version of the of Alabama. I'm like, I kind of see that, because with all of our different schemes we do, all of our different trickery and our wide receivers and like different things we can come up with. But like a more excited version, and he said, I can't remember who was else. I can't remember that. Who else was announcing this game? They said talk about we're like a new dynasty. I like we need to slow down a little bit with that. We're not quite a dynasty yet. We need to pump the brakes there. Because what if we could get the 6 rings? That's when we could be a dynasty. But no.
I mean, I think you got to at least win 2 before you become a dynasty. I think I can't remember. But
I mean, we have 2 right now.
No, I mean not. I mean, I'm talking about 2 and like not succession,
2 in a row.
But, like Patrick Mahomes has to win 2 as the quarterback to be a dynasty. Like, not necessarily even in a row, but like I'm talking like 2.
This man.
Get out of here, man. I was talking about
somebody get their
like 2 within 3 years, 2 within 5 years, something like that. Like the Seahawks were listed as a dynasty, but that was because they went to multiple Super Bowls back to back. That can give you dynasty status too. But nonetheless, I don't know why they hate my man.
But no, it was a good win though. We win those close games, so that that's good. But I'm tired of Panthers. They're a good team. They're really underrated in my opinion. Like they don't get the credit that they deserve. And also Christian McCaffrey getting hurt again. That's bad. Yeah, so I feel bad for them, but no, it's a good win, and this week we're on the bye, so I'm the only one in the stadium this week. I'm social distancing, I'm doing it safely, so I'm the only one here, even though we don't have a game.
It is crazy though, because and I think Mike Davis has earned himself a payday somewhere after this year, and he's about to continue to earn that. I feel like with Christian McCaffrey potentially being out again with the shoulder injury, so that helps his stock a little bit because I think he's played really well. I was surprised. Yeah, I mean, I guess when Christian McCaffrey's in, it's all Christian McCaffrey. I was surprised. I mean, he got a couple of catches, a couple of opportunities, but not many. In that game, but to the Ravens Patriots matchup, which I'm really excited for. Sunday Night Football, about freaking time. We got a primetime game that wasn't against the Chiefs. I don't want to relive that week anymore because that's the only primetime game we've had, and that anyway.
So I gotta say one more thing.
Go ahead.
Like I hear everybody say, when the Ravens play a team above 500, they do bad against them usually. Like they usually lose. Which I don't really.
Which you don't agree with, right?
Yeah.
Because we remember who was it? The Patriots last year who were undefeated, the Seahawks who were 1 loss last year. This year with of course the Colts, that's another one. And then of course with even the kind of new season Browns too. Like I mean, albeit it was we're both 0-0 at the time, but I think it still counts as it's still a 500 team at the time, and you don't know what anybody's going to be coming to the season. So, and once again, right in there with the Steelers, they just terrible. But anyway, Ravens Patriots. I think it's going to be a good game. I'm definitely excited for this. I mean, Ravens Patriots is always good. I think it's going to be a good game in terms of I'm excited for it. It's going to be fun. But I think I said, what did I say? 6 out of 8 blowout. 6 out of 8 games are going to be blowouts for the Ravens. Can I technically count a 14-point victory over the Colts? I don't know if that counts. I think it's got to be 21 or more, right, to be a blowout. right? I don't know what constitutes a blowout. Is it 17 or more, 21 or more?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, that seems to change. They'll say, like, said team routes
Right.
whoever.
Wins
and
by
I'm
3.
But that's what I'm saying. But like, what's the context? Whatever that, like, did the other team, were they down so much and then close the gap or whatever that, like, or because that game it was hanging around, and then they got that 14-point lead. So I don't know if it would say it was a rout. I would say that was a convincing win to a good defense.
Maybe
but
that's
yeah,
what I should
I
say. Maybe I should say I think 6 out of 8 will be convincing victories. So then that way I can have a little leeway, I guess. But nonetheless, I think this will be one of those convincing victories. Not that I think the Patriots are bad. I think they're very well coached. We saw that against the Chiefs. They're a very well coached team as usual. I think they're just like they're 1 or 2 mistakes away from winning a lot of these games that they've lost. I mean, if Cam doesn't fumble in the last possession, they kick the field goal and win a couple weeks ago. If Cam doesn't go out with COVID, I think they win a couple of those games too. That's often forgotten about too. I think he missed 2 games with COVID.
Because he missed the Chiefs game.
Yeah, which they played well in that game.
They did play well, and if he was there, they probably could have beat us, in my opinion.
Right. So I mean, I think it's gonna be a good game. I'm excited to see kind of a Lamar versus Cam battle. I love Cam a lot. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league. And of course, I am a Ravens fan, so that's just the team. But in terms of like a prediction, I guess I'm gonna go last and let you guys kind of discuss it too. But I think it's gonna be a blowout though. I think the way to a blowout is to just play your game. Like we talk about this I think all the time on here, and I hear it a lot. But it's like quit buying into what the media says until it's proven wrong. Like what I mean by that is if you're 25-5 running the football down people's throats and tiring people out and throwing it when you need to, throwing it 23, 25 times a game, keep doing it. You're winning football games. It'll be fine.
You know what they said, don't fix what's not broken.
Exactly. Like just keep doing what made the offense great last year, which was that, running the football. The passing game will come, and please listen to me, Baltimore. Please, Greg Roman. Can you I mean, somebody send this to Greg Roman. If there is not a running back in the backfield every single play, not every play, but I'm 95% of the time, we got the best running football team in the league. If you don't show the threat of run every time, I gotta respect that J.K. Dobbins is back there. I gotta respect that Mark Ingram. Well, he won't. I don't know if he'll be back there, but I gotta respect J.K. I gotta respect Gus. I gotta respect Lamar. I gotta respect all 3 of those things at the same time.
You gotta respect just kidding.
Sure. But Adam, go find the please no box. Create another one. I don't care. Whatever you gotta do. But
Casey, you gotta send me that. You gotta send me that picture so I can put it.
But I feel like even in the Colts game, there was a play. There was a couple of plays where like that fourth and 2, I think it was, where they did a fake it was a fake Lamar run, but he gave it to J.K. Dobbins. There was a threat of both of them on a 4th down. Do not come out in an empty set, because literally even Lamar said it this week. They're calling out our plays. So if you come out in empty, you're not throwing the ball, Lamar. You're coming right at us running the football in that QB power play. Show me the threat of all these great running backs that you have. You should never stop running the football if you got 3 running backs on the freaking roster. 3 solid running backs at that. But nonetheless, let's go with Casey first and see what he thinks about the Ravens Patriots game this week. And I know he can't pick the Patriots, so that's why I put him kind of in this position.
I hate you so much. You know what I got to go with. You know what I got to go with. Yeah, I don't want to.
You have to go with Candy Cam.
I got to go with Baltimore.
You got to go.
I got to go outside my division to the left and then back a little bit and then around to the right again.
Exactly. So I finally got a Ravens pick from Casey. I can't believe it. We're gonna get into Justin here.
That was a spiteful pick, by the way.
Spiteful picks, yeah. We got spiteful picks again.
Stop taking my gimmick.
You know, I have the dogs winning here. Yeah, the dogs in the background.
The dogs.
No. I got the Ravens winning here, but I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout like DJ said, because the what the heck, Adam? Oh man.
All right. I mean, the reason I think it's gonna be a blowout is because the Ravens blew out a much better Patriots team last year. Nonetheless, Adam.
Silencio, por favor. If you move. Anyway, against my better judgment of I'm never picking the Ravens again. I'm picking Baltimore here. Patriots defense is banged up, and they have been exposed the last couple of weeks, and not to mention particularly in that Jets game. And I do believe that they will do. I think they're going to do a lot of like what San Francisco did with just not nickel and dime, but just gashing them underneath and those little swing passes, whether it be from JK or like Andrews, in short yardage situation, but just a lot of open field stuff and getting those guys in spaces. Another thing too, that like you had mentioned, always have that threat in the run present on the field, whether you have JK, Gus, or both. And then all of a sudden you're splitting one out wide, whatever, though. Or in those short yardage situations, especially if they get Dez up to speed, my God, you could have all that calamity going and then just have Dez go right out to the hash on the sidelines for a little quick pass, whatever, though, and you'll break their backs, whatever, though, where you're thinking, like, we're going to get a stop here, they're going to run it, and then he just throws a quick pass to the outside. Dez opens up a lot of possibilities, if they get him up to speed, whatever, though. But, yeah, this one, again, I won't say a blowout, but I'm in that 17-point victory margin. So, yes, much as I don't want to do it, though, the Baltimore Ravens.
All right. Convincing victory number 2 out of the 6 that I got to get to. I think this is one of them. I feel like they're gonna kind of play well throughout the entire game instead of just going through into the second half. I'm hoping that they use some of that second half mojo that they had against the Colts and add some of that stuff into the offense. They ran some screens that I never saw ran. I don't care if it doesn't work. Run it anyway. Same thing with the running game. What I liked about the Colts game, albeit there were a couple of drops, in terms of the running game, when the Colts were stopping JK in the backfield, they were stopping Gus in the backfield, but they stuck with it. They still ran the football 37 times total at the end of the game. So that means if you run the ball 30 times, I think I got something here. We're getting to the point where I can make this an actual argument. If you run the ball 30 times and do not turn the football over, I'll say one or less because they did turn the football over in that game. One or less turnover, you win. I think that's the way to go about it. Ravens win convincingly, to use Adam's term here. I think the Ravens win convincingly in this one. Let's kick it to Thursday night football, the Colts and the Titans. A game
Visual game. Ooh.
Yeah, a game is going to be really good, I think. This one's like I think this is one of the harder picks of the week. Because I think the Colts are for real, but I don't know if the Titans are for real. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. It's like, what is it? Are they good? Are they not? I think people can stop saying, "Oh, are the Colts for real? Are the Colts a really good team?" if they beat the Titans on Thursday night. I think this is like a statement game. This is a proving game for the Colts. If the Colts win this game, I think they prove that they're top of the AFC South, and they are the best team in the AFC South. Ironically enough, I think Casey felt like the Colts had a better chance of making the Super Bowl last year than they do this year. He's weird, man. He's a weird person. I don't get it, but nonetheless, he said it. He admitted it last week. He said, "Oh, I know we're not going to the Super Bowl, but every year, Casey's like, we're going. This is our year. We're going." So I don't understand it, but nonetheless.
Retirement.
Yeah, I said that because of COVID. Like, we don't know anything about this season. Like,
they gonna cancel the Super
Jets
Bowl. That's what it is.
Come back and go to the Super Bowl. I would not be surprised.
But I think the Colts get the win here. I think
the Dolphins are going to the Super Bowl.
Possibly.
I'd be okay with that.
I wouldn't mind.
But nonetheless, I had to remember the royalties that Casey gets off of that, so I didn't say it. But nonetheless, the Colts win this. I think it's going to be last possession wins type of a game, and I think the Colts prove that they are the best team in the AFC South in this game right here on Thursday night. Justin.
I'm gonna have to agree with you, DJ. I'm gonna go with Colts to win here. It's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a really tight game, but I say the Colts win.
Adam, and then Casey gonna lead us off with the main event of this pick here. Try to do something different.
I'm actually gonna go with the Colts as well. Now, like, this is going to be, I think this is going to be a very, very, very tight game. I believe that the Colts have the chance, but schematically, I think they have the best blueprint on how to stop Derrick Henry. Okay, and like I said, Leonard makes all the difference in the world closing those gaps on the offensive line. And again, like Tannehill, they do give the threat of the pass, but he's not going to gash you over the top. Even though with what is it, Corey Brown and guys like that, they do have
AJ,
weapons, but obviously
that man, he's ridiculous, man.
Yes, and because so I mean, like they have weapons, but everything is predicated on Henry. Now, the Titans get a lead, they're going to suffocate the D line of the Colts, whatever, though, because Henry, they're just going to
that's friendly with Henry. Yep.
So I mean, again, and I hate to open up an old wound, but that's exactly what the Titans did to Baltimore in the playoff game. I mean, it was just a slow squeeze, to polish that game off, whatever. Though, but no, yes, and this is this is a big one for the Colts because like this is like a 2-for-1 because it's a divisional game. You win this and you get an edge on them in the playoff picture as well, not just the division. But no, this is going to be a real fun tight one. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Colts.
This might be the best, at least on paper, Thursday night game we've had so far.
We had this year, yeah.
Casey, it's on you.
Well,
this we pick outside your division and pack back around and all that, yeah. So
no,
Titans, right?
this is not when I do that. This is when I say, and I'm calling it right now. Colts blowout.
The Colts get blown out, or
the Colts get blown? He said the Colts get blown out.
47-0.
Okay, that's bold predictions there.
Yeah, I mean,
we
never had a bold
strategy,
prediction.
Cotton. Let's see if it pans out for him.
We never had a bold prediction segment.
That's what I was thinking.
That's a bold prediction.
So Casey starting us off with the bold prediction, but let's jump into the Browns and the Texans because the Chiefs are of course on a bye. The Browns and the Texans. I'll let Adam give his little preview of what he thinks is going to happen after we pick here. Let him get his thoughts together. Browns and the Texans. I'm gonna go with the Browns. The Texans are just struggling, and it's so crazy because I don't think they're a bad football team. they're literally only missing a number one receiver. Like that's about it. That's about what they're missing.
It's crazy how one receiver can change your whole team.
Arizona.
One receiver gets all the attention, which opens up. That's why Fuller strives.
Exactly.
Yep. I definitely agree with that. I think the Browns win this game. I think it's gonna be a close game. Because I'm still like the Browns. I think are also another. What are they? 5-3, if I'm not mistaken. 5-3. They're a very underappreciated 5-3. I feel like, in a way too. Like people are like, oh, the Browns should be good. They got all this talent, but then at the same time, they're like, oh, the Browns are no good. But then I think they feel like the Browns haven't won against good teams. And once again, you can only play who's on your schedule. And that's kind of how that works. I think it's gonna be close though. I definitely think it's gonna be close. I don't know if Nick Chubb comes back this week. He does, so I think that'll be the difference. Nick Chubb coming back.
You said Dak? Dak ain't in this
No,
game.
not Dak.
Wait, Dak back?
I definitely
I told
think
y'all Dak would come back.
I definitely think
on a different team.
I definitely think Nick Chubb will be the difference in this game. I think he'll give that offense a little bit more mojo that they're looking for. Because as much as I was like, yeah, no Odell, Baker will get to be free and loose. Like maybe he'll get that free and loose feel this week because against the Raiders he did not get that free and loose feel. He was a little tight on that one, but
yeah, well, he was also getting plagued with drops.
True. So I will definitely go with the Browns. Let's go to Casey. I know this is two of his favorites.
I'm excited about this game now. I'm excited. I'm pumped. Let's go, Browners. Dak's coming back on the Browns, and he's going to take him to a victory. Come on, Browners. Come on, Dak attack.
Somebody's going to come into this and be so confused. Justin.
Oh, my God, dude. I can't even. Give me the
Wait a minute. When did Dak get picked up by Cleveland?
What is the Dak attack?
It's just a cramp.
Can we start that as a chant? Dak attack. Dak attack.
Yeah, it'd be like Hardy's revenge. Justin.
Give me the.
It's just a cramp. It's just a cramp.
Give me the brownies here. I never understood why they call them the Browns and their helmets are orange.
Hey, Casey.
What?
You always make that point. We've had that discussion before. Like, why are they called? I know why they're called the Browns, but their helmets are orange. Tell me why come they're called the Browns.
See, I know exactly why they're called the Browns, and also brown helmets would look ugly as shit. So like, just keep the that would be terrible.
Well, they should be called the oranges. They should be called
the Orange Cassidys.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm sold. They're going to the
set. Ready, team.
From wherever.
Wait, no. Hold on. If we're gonna call them the Orange Cassidys, they have to get custom uniforms with pockets. All the receivers have to run down the field with their hands in their pockets.
Come out of the huddle. Or even the post game handshake.
Give the softest tackles they possibly can.
From wherever, with a record of whatever.
Cleveland, whatever.
Somebody
you're killing me.
They need to make that a skit. They really do.
Oh, anyway, so yes, the biggest news that's coming out of this week was as of Monday, Nick Chubb is finally back, and if there wasn't a bye last week, I think he would have been eligible to come back, but I still think they would have probably set him up for this week. Two other important players are back this week, and that is Wyatt Teller, the right guard, who is still listed in the top 5 of offensive linemen in the league, and he's been out since the I forget what game it was, but he's been out sometimes. And Chris Hubbard has been nothing but stout since filling in for him. Again, he's not as good as Wyatt, whatever. But again, I keep using that word. He's been a professional. He hasn't given up a lot of pressures. I don't think he's had even a lot of penalties. Knock on wood. But Wyatt is just way more physical. Brings a physical aspect into that front. Another one is Austin Hooper, who fluky thing he had to get a goddamn appendectomy leading into I believe it was the the Cincinnati game. Fluky thing, and he had to be out that week. So now he comes back. He becomes the true security blanket for Baker for the stuff underneath. And another big thing too, which I think hurt the running game, is his blocking is phenomenal, and that helps him out with those wide zone schemes and things like that. The only thing that's still a question mark is who's going to be the one to stretch the field now that Odell's out. And as I said last week, if anybody thinks that Odell being out doesn't help the Browns, and I think, again, there's two different discussions. If it helps Baker, if it helps the Browns, it definitely did not help the Browns not having him there, because Oakland, and take the weather aspect out of it, Oakland, they weren't afraid of any of the other guys because all that stuff was going to be just, they were going to push everything underneath. Now, I don't know if it's going to be those type of conditions again, but the forecast coming up this week, I think it's still going to be crummy weather, whether it be rain, cold, this, that, and the other. So again, that's still throw the Raiders game out the window. That's the Raiders out Browns the Browns in terms of how they wanted to attack it. Get a lead and then just suffocate the team by running the ball. And that game has woken up Josh Jacobs now. But getting those pieces back is going to help. And again, this benefits Cleveland if it's crummy weather. Houston is a dome team. And DJ, you said it. They are 2-6. It's funny. The only 2 games that they've won have both been against Jacksonville, which is astounding. Deshaun is so deadly. You look at his stats, you're like, there's no way the Texans are 2-6. But their defense was okay last year. They are bad. They are BAD bad this year. And they have Duke Johnson that used to play for the Browns, and he's going to be the number 1 option in the backfield. He's a perfect weapon for this type of conditions that could possibly be happening this Sunday. But Cleveland knows his tendencies, especially the guys from the defensive side. They know how he operates. So that's going to be a good matchup to watch. But learning from their mistakes and getting all those pieces back, this game benefits Cleveland. And this jumpstarts the second half to where this is, granted, Houston is going to score. I think Cleveland fans need to, watch out for that. They have that capability, but they're a one-trick pony. They don't run it effectively. Their O-line is really bad in the interior of it. They have Laramie Tunsil, left tackle. That's huge, but Miles is going to attack from the right side. And again, they just need somebody else to get home as well. Miles can't do it all. But if the way that things plan out, whatever, with getting Chubb, having those conditions, you need to just have those long, sustaining 7-8 minute drives to force the issue on Deshaun, because for what it's worth, I don't think Deshaun's the best in bad weather. So after getting these pieces, you're still at home, being in those conditions, you must smother this team, because this is one that you have to win. So yes, I am going to go with Cleveland.
Alrighty, into the next one we got NFC East matchup. Philadelphia Eagles, New York Football Giants. Eagles got to win this game. I think. It's one of those games that can go either way. It's one of those games that's like, who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen? Just because it is the Eagles and it is the Giants and it is the NFC East. Yes, taking us back to this moment. Faster runner than Baker, faster runner than Patrick Mahomes. But anyway, nonetheless.
Even Patrick Mahomes tweeted. He tweeted something. He goes like, "I couldn't even." He said, "I would have tripped." No, you would have tripped.
Faster runner than Lamar Jackson apparently after this play, which was ridiculous. But nonetheless,
LeVar wouldn't have fallen. I'm just saying.
But yeah, I'm going with the with the Eagles. I'm going with the Eagles because I think they have to win this game. But like, it's still like, the crazy part is the Giants literally, like, they were on top of the Eagles in this game the last time. I want to go with I'm not going with the Eagles. I'm going with the Giants. I think it's such a toss up. It's such a freaking toss up. Because it's not that, I mean, the Eagles are good when they put it together, but how often do the Eagles friggin' put it together? And I think the Giants really dominated them the last time they played. They just didn't win the football game. So I'm gonna go with the Giants. Let's keep the NFC East race just up in the air for the whole rest of the year. We might as well, right? So yeah, I'm going with the Giants. Let's kick it to Casey. I'm sure he's gonna pick the team in his home area there.
Oh, man, it's so tough, man. Do I pick the one north of me or the one south of me? Can I pick neither? Because NFC East.
I mean, you can't pick a tie.
I'd just like to point out Casey just did the flight attendant speak of, there's about 75 degrees outside, clear winds.
Clear winds.
And we're going to go with the Giants because who really fucking knows?
All right, Adam.
Yeah, believe it or not, especially the fight that the Giants showed against Tampa last week, I'm actually going to go with my man here, fallen from grace, because I don't think that's going to happen. That's not going to happen again. And DJ, like you said, they were handling Philadelphia that game. Like, as that game went along, nobody deserved to win that, especially when if what's his face, Ingram, the tight end, he catches that ball, game's over. So and plus, if I'm not mistaken, I believe we have the Browns have Philadelphia next week. So yeah, so I want the Giants to break their spirits. So I'll throw them a bone. Give me the G-men.
Just.
I'm not picking Danny Dimes. I'm not picking Danny Dimes. Or Danny Pennies, as DJ likes to call him. That's his name. His name's Danny Pennies. Yeah. I'm going to go with the Eagles here. Yeah.
Hey, you remember Matt Castle? Anyway, the Jaguars and the Packers. No, did not say Kyle Bowler. Anyway, the Jaguars and the Packers. Does anybody in their right mind, or their wrong mind, want to pick the Jaguars?
the AEW roster does.
That's because of a sponsorship.
I pick John Moxley.
All right, so everybody's going with the Packers because that's.
I pick Eddie Kingston.
I pick Hikaru Shida.
All right, moving into the Washington football team and the Detroit Lions. Good Lord. I'm assuming Alex Smith starts this game. I'm pretty sure that because Kyle Allen dislocated his ankle. I think he had a slight fracture, which it looked far worse than I guess it seemed. I guess the prognosis was after the game. I mean, it looked awful. I mean, I was like, how many of these injuries can we have, and why? Like, why is this happening? I can't.
Because we didn't have a preseason.
That's what I'm thinking. It's got to be the off season and preseason. Like, who would have thunk that that games that mean nothing to us would mean so much to the players? Because it's crazy, and I think they said the injury happened around about where Alex Smith broke.
Alex Smith got hurt. Yeah.
Like, goodness. And imagine being Alex Smith on the sidelines and like having to basically relive that. Like, that's crazy to me. But anyway.
Kyle Allen, but that's none of my business.
I'm gonna go with Detroit. I don't trust either one of these teams. But I trust Detroit a hair more than I trust the Washington football team. Casey, go ahead and do your weekly Washington football team pick.
Listen, I only pick them when I know they can win.
Oh, remember when they were going to the Super Bowl at 2-6?
Listen, I only pick them when I know they can win, which is every week. I'm going with the Washington football team. They're going to come back. You're going to watch. They're going to come back.
They're only going to come back because they're in the NFC East. Justin.
I'm going to go with the Lions here. But like you said, DJ, both
what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? It is the Washington football team.
Nope. I got to go with the Detroit Lions here.
Adam.
Detroit Rock City.
Hate y'all.
Goodness. It's the Washington football team. Like, what in... picking the Washington football team play, like picking them to win would be like trying to pick
picking them to play? Yeah, let's not have them play at all.
Yeah. Picking them to win would be like...
No, actually, hold on. Better yet, let's not have the whole NFC East play at all.
Definitely. Picking them to win would be like picking the Buccaneers to beat the Saints. Cause anyway. Speaking of the Buccaneers.
Why you gotta do it like that though?
Why you gotta do?
I picked them too, but goodness, like what is wrong? Buccaneers versus the Panthers. I think the Buccaneers bounce back here. I think the Panthers are better than their 3-6 record indicates. I think they're just losing games. It's almost like the Chargers. I think the Chargers are better than their 1 and whatever or 2 and whatever record they have indicates. But nonetheless, I think the Buccaneers bounce back. I think they're only bad against the Saints. I wish somebody would have said that. That the Saints are the Buccaneers' kryptonite, because that's been taken out of context the whole season. Lamar, you didn't have to say it out loud. Anyway, Buccaneers win. Justin.
Yeah, give me the Bucs here. They're gonna have bounce back. Yeah.
Adam.
And also, fun little fact: Drew Brees is the only quarterback in Tom Brady's career to sweep him in one season. I threw that out, and my jaw dropped. I was like, "Wow!" And again, handled them both games because obviously the first game was different, whatever though. But just I want everyone to realize this: 5 rushes, 8 yards all night. That was insane, and that was with Antonio Brown. So are they again? And I'm surprised that wasn't the conversation the next day. They're worse with Antonio Brown. Like,
right?
He just got on the fucking team. I mean, I hate the bastard, but just
and it's like too,
calm
like
down.
you got to remember the dude hasn't played a snap in how long? Like
2 years.
you got
Well, actually, no, I'm sorry. A year. He was with the Patriots for a couple games before they booted him.
right. Like I mean, it's gonna take him a second to get back into it. I know he's still a good receiver and all, but
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, Tampa Bay bounced back here, and again,
It's Tampa Tom.
Yeah, but I like Tampa Bay.
I like that too. I like both.
But actually, no, Tampa Bay. And the thing with Carolina's frisky. Again, like they're better than what their record indicates. But I think I made this comparison a handful of weeks ago. I said Carolina is in that realm of like you can rebuild but still live in the house. It's like they're in a new regime. They're still progressing, still getting their feet wet and finding their way. And this is what happens when you have a solid signing with getting Bridgewater. So again, like they're gonna stick around for a while in this game. And I mean this is gonna be a blowout, but like for Tampa, like a 10, 12 point win here, whatever. But yeah, Tampa bounces back here.
Casey, are you gonna pick Tampa, Tom?
I think Casey gets all these royalties that we're saying.
I do. I get every single royalty.
So let's quit saying his catchphrases.
He gets about as much royalties as he gets the entire lump sum of money that he gets from his t-shirts. He doesn't get all of it.
Boom, roasted.
But I get some of it.
Don't get all of it, but you get some of it.
That's all that matters is I get some of it. All right. All
right.
We're going with last week just didn't happen because Tampa Bay is going to show you why they're not totally terrible.
Okay, good point.
That wasn't a very convincing. They're just going to show that they dress up and march on the field.
They have Tom Brady. So.
All right.
The best quarterback ever.
Los Angeles.
They do not have Peyton Manning. What are you talking about?
Los Angeles Chargers. No comment on that. Going up against the Miami Dolphins. Poor Chargers, because they about to take another L. Because I feel like the Dolphins are really starting to get the wins, as Casey would say. But I feel like they're starting to click. I think they see the freaking AFC East title within reach right now, to be honest.
The last game of the year, it's Dolphins and Bills.
And the Bills. That's
Buffalo. That's going to be a great game.
Oh, yeah, it's at Buffalo.
Yeah. Yes. But again, and I would like to say, like, and I think I said that with the utmost confidence. Cardinals and Dolphins was the best game of the weekend.
Exactly. Yeah, I was watching that game. Ooh.
Yeah, it was. Because the Dolphins are rolling, does anybody want to pick the Chargers?
Nope.
I think this is gonna be a good game. No, I
gotta say one thing. I wouldn't mind if the Chiefs lose to the Dolphins this season because we got them in a few weeks here. I think we got it sometime in December, but I wouldn't mind if we lose to them. I really wouldn't. After them helping us last year, to get the second seed in the playoffs, I'm like, you know what? We'll give it to you guys. We don't need to win there.
Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Okay, so since everybody picked, as Casey would say, the Fins to get the wins, we are going to go to the Broncos and the Raiders. Does anybody want to pick the Broncos?
I don't want to pick any team. I'll pick a tie. It's going to be a tie. No.
Refs.
The refs. It's going to be a Royal Rumble. All 32 teams.
Okay.
Forearm.
Super kick.
All right. Raider
Close line.
prevails in that one. the Bills and the Cardinals, another very good game. If the Bills want to prove something, they win this football game. Oh goodness, this one's a tough one because they got to go to Arizona, and that's like friggin' across the friggin' country. I think the Bills are going to lose this game, and the Dolphins are going to be really happy about it. So, because if the Dolphins do win, that puts them tied. If the Dolphins wet the bed, then that's going to be an issue. But the Dolphins, I mean, that puts the Dolphins in first place, don't it? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think they're 5 and. Oh, let me check. I'll check the standings.
Well, the Bills,
5-3.
the Bills will be ahead by a
No.
game because they played more games
Yeah.
than the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say that's how they're
I
gonna.
think the Dogs agree also.
Yes, they do. They always.
The Fins get the win.
Typically, when I say something, they tend to agree. So I must be on a good platform here. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Cardinals just because it's a cross country trip. I think the Bills can win this. It's gonna be a good game too. Another one of those really good games. But I'm gonna go with the Cardinals. Oh God, Casey, what is it?
I'm struggling because I want to help the Fins.
Is the grass back to normal? Is it not broken anymore?
But I also want the Buffalo Williams to win.
Oh my God! Somebody get their mans. Hold on. Somebody get their mans.
I'm gonna sacrifice it, and I'm gonna go with the Buffalo Williams because I know the Finnies can come back, baby. The Finnies can come back.
Goodness. I don't know what to say, Justin.
Give me the Cardinals here.
And Adam.
I am gonna go with the Cardinals as well. I just think the Cardinals are too fast for what Buffalo's defense is going to give them. Like, I don't think it'll be a high scoring affair, but I mean, I just Kyler can just carve the Bills linebackers, and again, I mean, Hopkins is playing out of his mind this year. And again, it sucks because man, this is a tough one. Yeah, screw it. Yeah, I'll go with Arizona.
All right. Does anybody want to pick the Saints to lose against the depleted 49ers? Because I don't think the 49ers got Jimmy G this week. Kittle's out for the rest of the season. Mostert's done. I don't even know who their running back is at this point. I remember watching that episode, like, because I saw the GIF before I saw the actual, show. So then I saw the show, and it's like, I remember this. But yes, thank you, Justin. That actually helps with the decision making for I think all of us collectively.
Wait, what is it?
What game is this?
Oh yeah.
Okay, to a better game possibly.
What game was that? What were this on?
The Niners and freaking. Why can't I remember it? It was that bad. The Niners and the Saints. The Saints destroying the Niners.
Yeah, Saints are winning.
The Seahawks and the Rams. This is gonna be a good game. And I'm wondering if the Seahawks are gonna show up like they did last week. Because if they do, oh goodness. I'm gonna go with the Seahawks here. This is a tough one too, but I'm gonna go with the Seahawks. I think this one will be a good game too. This is a good division, so yeah, I think the Seahawks win this one because they're playing well. Yeah, that'll be good. And I don't think the Seahawks have played the Cardinals yet, have they?
I think they. Yeah, did they?
Arizona won.
Okay.
Yeah, it was by field goal.
Seattle was in the lead.
That's right.
Minutes,
That's right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And they got to play them again. So, yeah, they got to win this game. They did not look good last week. Russ looked terrible last week, and I mean, just overall, they just look bad. Against the Bills, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was, right?
Yeah, they racked up 40 on Seattle.
Now, Seattle's defense is absolute
terrible
garbage. But
terrible.
Yeah, I'm going with the
dumpster
Seahawks.
Juice.
I'm going with the Seahawks. Adam, what do you think?
No, I'm starting to. This is. It's been a trend all year, whatever though. But at this point of the year, if you can't salvage your defense a little bit to get some type of stop, whatever though, that's going to come back and bite Seattle in the ass, because they are making Russ try to take over these games and happen to score 35, 40, 45 points, whatever, and that's just not salvageable. And I need to remind people, this is with Jamal Adams in the backfield, and they still can't stop anybody. That's a problem. So and again, like, you know, the Rams, I almost said St. Louis Rams. The Rams are kind of hovering in that division, whatever though. Like, I don't think that they're quite dead yet in that division, even though that's the best division in football. So I'm actually going to go with the Rams here.
Also remember a time when they said DK Metcalf couldn't run routes and wasn't going to be a stud in the NFL, and look at him now. But anyway, that dude's ridiculous. Justin.
Yeah, give me the Seahawks here, because the Rams are not winning this.
Justin picked the Seahawks? Casey.
Not picking the. I'm not saying it. I'm going
with the Rams.
No, the Rammy Hammies. Come on, get it right.
Casey, it just gets worse every year. Like,
did you just get hit by a ram?
That's a goat.
They forgot to teach Justin what sound the animals make. So like he's gonna be like they're gonna come out with he's gonna talk about the dog pound. He's gonna be like the meow pound. That's gonna be Justin.
If I hear anybody do that, you gonna feel my wrath.
The Bengals and the Steelers upset coming this week. The Steelers been trying to lose games for the past 2 weeks at least. So I think they're gonna successfully lose to the freaking Bengals, because the Bengals, they're not as bad as their 2-5 record. And people love Joe Burrow at this point. People love this man. They're going to choke this week, like they should have choked against the Cowboys. And I ain't gonna talk about the week before. Steelers, you're gonna be 8-1 after this week. Bengals are gonna win this football game. And I'm gonna be shooketh. Anyway,
shooketh.
Adam, it's on you, bro.
Oh, the rally cap. I hope Big Ben stays on the COVID list all week. Because I think I shared that to you guys this morning. He's one of four guys that are on that list, because they were close contact with Ebron. Give me Cincy.
Can they win with Mason Rudolph? Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, if Mason Rudolph's in the game, Bengals win, definitely.
Yes, and I hope somebody gets mad on the Cincinnati Bengals and hits them with their helmet.
They better bring out Duck Hodges if Mason Rudolph's going to be out. Anyway, Justin.
You know, there's this TikToker that I was watching, and she said that she would give I don't know how much money she said she would give people if Ben Roethlisberger would play the whole season without getting injured or something, you know, without, you know, having to sit out for a game or something. And he said out here, and I don't trust Mason Rudolph. I don't trust him. So I'm gonna go with the Bengals here.
Oh my goodness! Can we get a clean upset sweep right here? Can we get a clean Casey? This is the first time Justin didn't say Pringles.
What's that song that goes like black and yellow, black and
Who's
yellow,
that
black and... I'm going with the Bengals.
Oh, I thought.
Who's that lady?
No! Please, God, no!
Oh, fuck.
No, seriously. Cincy, yeah. And I won't say that they're better than what their record indicates. Like, I just think they're progressing like they should. Because, Joe is very... He's magic, back there. But just they still don't. They have a terrible offensive line, and their defense is suspect.
Terrible.
But have been terrible. TRBL terrible. But they've been very stout the last few weeks. So I think, and it's a divisional game, and they always, these are always nice hard hitting games, whatever though. But pains me to say it, but. Cincy, yeah.
I
know I already gave my pick, but still.
They broke my hearts and dreams at times too. So, Casey, are you gonna make the sweep here? Are you gonna do it?
Just do it.
Terrible. TRBL.
No, man, no. The TRBL. And they go, no, they're just terrible. Because Big Ben, the guy's a knucklehead. Okay, it's like when I when I have my stereo. There's bass and turbo, and the only time I'm ever going to make this reference, see if you guys can guess it. You think you're going to get rid of a guy like Ben Roethlisberger, but you ever look at Ben Roethlisberger? He looks like he could be Wreck-It Ralph. I mean, you ever seen that movie with Penelope? I mean, he tries to get that extra, episode in the video game. But I mean, that's just Brett Favre.
This man's no God, please. Oh, this man's
Casey.
He's
that wins. That wins the whole week. That was the best thing I've seen all week.
No,
all right.
Please, God, no.
That just made it worse. Just off camera. No, please, God, no.
I think that's a TikTok coming soon.
Anyway, no, I picked. I said the Bengals.
All right, I had to make sure confirmation that we swept.
Bengals. The Bengals.
Monday Night Football. Vikings versus the Bears. Poor ESPN.
Oh God.
Poor ESPN.
Hold on.
Okay.
Who is in charge of scheduling Monday night games this season?
Yeah.
Helen Keller.
Helen Keller. Did you say Helen Keller?
I'm going with the Vikings. Simply because I think the Bears, once again, are frauds. And I think the Vikings are better than their record indicates. I think they've just played absolutely awful at times. I mean, they did beat the absolute poop out of the Green Bay Packers. And the Green Bay Packers were this unstoppable force. So, I mean, they destroyed them.
They routed them.
And we forget that the Packers lost. I can't remember who the other team they lost to, but they got the crap beat out of them in that week too.
Buccaneers.
Yeah. They didn't look like the same team. I mean, I know we're gonna give Aaron Rodgers credit. I know we're gonna give Aaron Jones credit. I know we're gonna give Devontae Adams credit, and that's about it. So, I mean, Vikings win this football game. Before I go on a tangent, Vikings win this football game. Casey.
I guess the Vikings. I guess.
The Minnesotas.
The Minnesotas.
Justin.
You know what? I gotta go with the Vikings here. They're gonna be drinking their mini sodas at the game when they win.
Terrible. Adam. If you could gather yourself, because
Would you like some mini soda?
Is that what they say in Minnesota?
Oh yeah, Bobby, don't you know?
For mini sodas, don't you know? we say pop out here.
That's what I was getting. Like you just said, mini. Oh. I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings. Dalvin Cook is playing out of his mind, and they are going to bitch slap the frauds because they have no offensive identity. Rich Eisen popped me on Sunday in their game. He goes, late breaking news, this just in. The Bears scored a touchdown. And that's saying, like, they have a Super Bowl caliber defense, and their offense is what we call the drizzling shits. And this continues. I think this pushes Matt Nagy on the hot seat in terms of keeping his job. But yeah, the Minnesotas.
Alrighty. So that'll do it for our Week 10 preview of the NFL. Definitely should be a pretty good week. Definitely exciting. I'm gonna bring up all the different ways you can watch us and listen to us. I should just add Google in there. Casey, can you send me that Googleable
Yes, we are
design? I'm just gonna throw it
Googleable.
on the. I'm just gonna throw it on the corner for next week.
We're Googleable.
It's just gonna be like, we're Googleable. So that means Google us right now. But nonetheless, we hope you guys definitely enjoyed the show tonight. Be sure to share with your friends. Comment your predictions, what you think, who you think's going to win this week. If you think we're completely wrong about the Steelers, because we don't think we're completely wrong about the Steelers.
Share your tiny sodas with them.
Yes. Share your flavor of, if you made it this far, in the video or the podcast, make sure you comment somewhere, tweet us your favorite flavor of mini soda.
To be fair, I don't think anyone ever gets this far into any of our episodes.
There's one person out there, okay? There's one person that gets this far every time. He's like, I'm with you, but I ain't going to comment because I'm too lazy.
Sarah?
Maybe. Sarah comments, though. Sarah does comment. But nonetheless, definitely hope you guys enjoyed. Appreciate everybody for coming by. Of course, Casey, Adam, Justin, all of you. Thank you guys for coming by. Definitely we'll see you guys next week for our Week 11 preview. Hopefully I will be this jolly as well next week. Hopefully all of us will be semi-jolly. Justin will be waking up from his nap.
Yeah, I've been taking a lot of naps this weekend because
I took plenty of this past Sunday.
But nonetheless, definitely hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you guys on the next video. Be sure to give us a like, subscribe, share the video, all that good jazz. See you guys. Peace. Adios.